Hey everyone, David C. Anderson here coming at you from the Knife Center. And our Blade Show Week celebration continues where we're bringing the Blade Show to you. Even though it was canceled, doesn't mean we can't hang out with all of our cool friends. And today, we're talking to SOG Knives with my evil twin, Alec. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad, David. Good to see you again.
Yeah, man. So we've got a few new knives here. They're not strictly what would have been quote-unquote Blade Show debuts, but the new Pro-TAC series or the professional TAC XR series. I'm getting that terminology wrong, and I'm sure you'll correct me. Um, but we've got these new knives coming out that you showed to us at SHOT Show earlier this year, and these are the ones I've really been waiting for because I'm excited about this new XR lock that's making its way across your lineup, especially these unassisted versions.
Exactly. So this is the professional line in the XR family. We've got a couple of different product families in here, so we'll touch on those as they come up. But SOGtek, Pentagon, Vision, etc., all part of the professional umbrella geared towards uniformed, military, law enforcement, first responders, those guys that when they're carrying a knife and they need it right now. And then using the XR lock that we debuted on the Terminus a few years ago and have been, like you said, spreading throughout the line just because it's so fantastic.
I mean, I've always loved that crossbar style of lock, and I'm glad that companies like you guys are able to start using it now, start developing your own versions of it.
Exactly, us too. I mean, it's incredibly strong and fantastic lock and fits really well with the user needs for these knives, which is what we're starting to apply for everything. We're actually starting to break out SOG too into SOG, Studies and Observations Group, which is called out on all the new knives. And that's how we're applying that design ethos to everything that we make. So we're studying the knife, what the user needs are, observing how they're used, and again, what the needs are and what's breaking, what's working, what's not, and applying that to the designs, and then doing that until we get something that actually works well. It's one thing if we think it's cool, but it's got to work in the user's hands. That's
For sure.
paramount.
Now, while you touch on sort of that design and that studying aspect, not only do you have this new XR lock working its way across the lineup, but speaking of that lineup, this year especially has seen pretty much a complete revamp of all your classic models. I'm really excited about them. I think they look great. But I'd love to hear a bit more, if you can, the process behind that. Like, who kind of led the charge on the direction of the revamped or the reimagined models? Was it engineering team? Was it sales, engineering, marketing together? I just feel like that has to have been really exciting and really invigorating in the building there as you guys are kind of updating these classics. What can you share with us about that?
Oh, exactly. So it's something that has been across the entire team. We've all wanted to work to making our legacy products better. I mean, Flash, Aegis, and Trident that launched earlier this year, our flagship models for years and years and years, but they needed a technology upgrade. They needed a steel upgrade. And then we decided that instead of trying to work in-house and think, what do we think is better, to instead talk to subject matter experts in the field. So working with guys in military and law enforcement, avid backpackers, outdoorsmen, hunters, guys on special operations, people who, like I said earlier, need to use these knives. So we decided, hey, these are our designs. This is what we've worked. We know you guys are using these. What do you like? What do you not? What needs to get fixed? And then moving forward from there. I'm sure you've noticed ambidexterity is a huge thing. And that's not just because we love lefties, like Jonathan has said before, but because sometimes you need to use stuff in your support hand. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're holding onto something to carve away, and then you can deploy your knife, fold it up, toss it back in your pocket without having to ever need to use both hands.
And especially important for the professional users. And when we say professional, we're talking military and law enforcement specifically that might need that knife in a supporting role to their primary hand, which might be otherwise occupied.
Exactly. And that carries through to everything in the professional line that we're doing these days. Partially just because we've got guys on our side that are left-handed and they like having knives for them finally, but also, like you said, because it's absolutely needed. That was something that was really important to the guys that are being deployed and need these in a professional role.
For sure. Well, pick up a model. Talk to us about the first one, whichever one you want.
So closest one to me on the table right now is going to be the SOGtek XR. SOGtek's a name that we've had on our automatic series for a long time, but as everybody is, I'm sure, acutely aware, not everybody can have an automatic knife. So this is our fully manual, hard use, everyday carry folder. That's more for the accessible guy. They're going to put it through hell and back, not want to cry too hard if something goes sideways with it, and beat it up like you talked about in your video last week. Nice fine edge, fine tip, makes cutting and slicing really, really easy. Again, something important to the subject matter experts. sticks in your hand, nice grippy G10. It's not going anywhere unless you want it to. And with that, fully ambidextrous style.
Absolutely. And what I really love about not just these professional XR series knives, but across the range of all the new models, you are targeting specific use cases, but they don't feel like they're at the expense of other potential users as well. Like, for instance, I am not a tactical knife guy. That's not my forte. I wouldn't mind EDCing this knife at all. I think it's got a great profile for just general utility as well.
Exactly. For these, definitely these sub $100 knives, that's what we want to have geared towards it. It's definitely going to be specialized to some users in a degree, but the increased specialization comes more at those higher tiers, like we'll talk about a little bit later, where it's very purpose-built and purpose-driven. But you can still, I mean, I'm not a tactical user either. I still carry one of our higher-end tactical knives just because I like it and it ticks all the boxes for me personally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it's a very nice design. I like the price point on this one specifically because, again, I think out of the, it's a bit of a toss-up. I have one of the earlier AT knives here. I've got the new Flash AT, probably my two favorite EDCable designs. And one is, I think the Flash you were gearing specifically at EDC first, but the SOG-TAC at tactical first. But still, I think they're both really, really good utility shapes.
Exactly. They're both great designs. You're absolutely correct that the Flash AT is geared more towards that EDC user with that long, lean profile. It takes up a little bit less pocket real estate, whereas the SOG-TAC is going to take up a little bit more width in the pocket, but also be a little bit more rough and tumble with that blade shape.
All right, very cool. What else do you have to show for us, or to show to us today, I should say?
From one of the more specialized designs that I was talking about, the Pentagon XR. So this is going to be more towards that tip of the spear style end user. You know exactly what it's for if you need it. We've got that nice spear point shape, big old belly on the blades, edge geometry that's perfect for slicing and piercing. You've also got jimping in all the spots that those end users want it in order to actually not have your hands slip off. Not too aggressive, but aggressive enough to actually stick into both a sweaty hand or with the gloves on, or it's not going anywhere. CTS XHP. So you've gotten a nice, great edge retention on that knife. It's just phenomenal all around, fully ambidextrous, one hand open and close with that XR lock. It's just a great all around long, lean knife to stick them with the pointy end.
Stick whatever. We're not saying what.
Exactly.
What I like about this design, and I think I've told you this before, is the neutral handle shape that you get with this particular design. You've got that one finger groove at the front, but it's not restrictive at all. You have a fairly, a neutral and symmetrical shape. So any kind of grip, any kind of hand size will pretty much work with this handle.
Exactly. Tip up, tip down, just locks in. Again, I'm not a lefty, so pardon my fumbling with my left hand, but it works either way. And then the clip is reversible as well.
And then you've got the protection from the finger guard formed by the flipper there. And an observation that a few people have made, and I'm actually embarrassed I didn't make it myself, being as I am an outdoorsman or an outdoors knife user first. Kind of like a bit of a folding Kephart design almost. You got your spear point bushcraft knife with an unconventional grind for such a knife, but you could certainly do it, I think.
Definitely. It can serve more than one purpose. I mean, we've got it designed to do really, really well in one specific aspect. That doesn't mean it doesn't do anything else poorly.
Absolutely.
Unless you're looking for serrations, in which case, you're a little bit out of luck on this particular one.
Right. Well, I don't care about those anyway. I'll take the plain edge any day of the week. I really like this design as well. But we have one more on the table, I believe, also.
Yep. The next one, this is actually what I'm EDCing these days, is the Vision XR, sort of the next generation of our visionary X-ray vision lines that we've had over the years. This is going to be more towards that high-end everyday carry. So if you like Tonto, this is the knife for you. We've got serrations. I've been cutting a lot of packaging and strapping lately, as I'm sure most of us have, with ordering everything online. So the serrations become in handy for me. It just fits really, really well. I've got this in a couple of colors. Again, geared towards that professional user. So that nice angled, lean shape can speak a little bit more tactically than outdoorsy, but doesn't suffer in that regard as all.
So the reason, just for you personally, do you gravitate towards a Tonto typically more than a drop point or a clip point shape? Is that why you like this particular knife, or is there another reason for that?
It varies for me, actually. I've been carrying the Terminus XR for years when we had it, but when we got this knife, I tend to isolate my plain edge and my Tonto personally, so I can use it, sharpen one at a slightly different, more acute level for scraping or sharpening, just
Sure.
like an X-Acto knife, carving, and then I've got a little bit more plain edge for that hard use if I'm just trying to rip through something or carve something big and honk it off. It just fits well in my pocket, rides well, is a little bit bigger than the Terminus, but not quite as big as the CLXR. Just ticks all the boxes for me. One hand open, one hand closed. Just great little knife.
Speaking of pocket carry, one thing I noted, the pocket clips on these are folded over. They're not deep carry though. There is a fair bit sticking out above the pocket clip, which again, given these are kind of geared specifically towards those professional users who might be suffering from an adrenaline dump or wearing combat or duty gloves, you want them to be able to access that pretty easily, don't you?
Exactly. That was one of the surprises from during the design process. Is all of us have been moving forward thinking, all right, deep carry, concealable, folding knife, it's not out of the way. And the guys we were talking to who were exactly in the situations like you're talking about, adrenaline dump, you're back to gross motor functions, grab the knife, get it out and use it. You want something a little bit more extra sticking out of your pocket. That being said, on the SOG-TAC, we do have some compatibility for some of our older deep carry clips for ultras.
Oh, check that out. I've never even noticed. You're talking about that little slot there at the back, huh?
Little bitty slot. If you happen to have something like a Trident Elite or whatnot with one of our older style clips, is going to be one of the ones that says SOG on it in big letters. But it's going to be a little bit more deep carry. We're still figuring out exact compatibility with that, so don't go calling us all at once. But there is an option that we're working for if you want something a little bit more concealable.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I had never, I guess I saw it, but I never registered what that was back there. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So call you if you want one, but not all at once is what you're saying.
Not all at once, exactly.
We'll be sure to leave Alex's direct line on the screen at the end of the video here.
Oh, thanks. I feel so loved.
But no, I'm really excited about these knives. I'm really excited about what you guys have been doing this year in particular. I know last year there were a few folks asking me end of 2019, like, what are you looking forward to? I've been telling them to keep an eye on SOG, and you guys aren't disappointing.
Thank you. One of the latest and greatest that's come out too recently that I think you've probably got one to hand as well. I had to steal mine from my wife because she, of course, stole it from me initially, is the Ultra XR. So again, XR lock, incredibly thin, weighs 1.3 ounces. It's a fantastic little knife. This is in our EDC family, or EDC product grouping. And you can just see the differences between the more professional user and the more EDC, where you've got big, burly, put it through hell and back and it's going to be absolutely fine, versus the knife you have with you is the best knife that you've got. So it's everyday carry. You're going to vanish in your pocket. You can use it as a money clip. And it's just a phenomenal little accent piece, in addition to being S35, rough and tumble knife.
You're still not sacrificing the edge retention. You've still got some premium steel there, and just along with those good looks. And I believe like just under 3 inches long too. So for some folks out there that may have some blade length restrictions in place, there's not a whole lot out there, I think, that falls even shorter than 3 inches. There's a bit here and there, but so this is a great size in my mind as well for something like this especially.
Exactly. And it just vanishes into the pocket. If you want something even slimmer, you can take off the pocket clip, just a couple little torque screws. But I kind of like having the money clip aspect of it. It does come in graphite as well, instead of just the gold like we showed off at SHOT Show. But something a little fancy about having that pop of gold.
I agree. And I like the clip on it as well, especially with this type of lock. I'm always used to the way I flick them open. I'm always anchoring my back 2 fingers on that pocket clip to hold on to it. And if you don't have that there, it'd be a really slim knife to try and hold on to without one.
Exactly. I'm the exact same way. Everything for me gets anchored on that clip, open up. If you have a back flip, I tend to be using that more days, just because it's a little easier than trying to do that full wrist motion. You just have the one finger. But for this little slim guy, I mean, some days I'll just pop my finger into the groove, open up there. But if I want to open, just have the fidget factor, always about.
And this knife has also, one thing I've appreciated about your XR locks as well, the way yours work that your competitors don't, is as soon as you pull that lock bar back, you're kind of staging that blade. It opens it just a little bit for you, so it's already started.
Exactly. It's overcoming that bias towards closure, which is so important for some of these knives where you have this locking mechanism where if you hold it in your pocket and you jump just right, the knife will fall open.
Yep.
With these, that you can open them almost good 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and it'll still keep itself closed. So that's what popping that does, is just overcomes that bias towards closure, so you can open the knife back up.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. All right, one last question I've got for you today. And this goes, you get to kind of brag about yourself a little bit. For the folks out there, well, first of all, let's get the branding thing. We've been getting some arguments in our comment section about how to pronounce your brand name. Is SOG verboten? Should I not call you guys that anymore? Or are we SOG?
So, we're moving forward from SOG to SOG. We studied a couple of years back, and about half the country was split just about right down the middle as opposed to who would call us what. We're actually breaking out the acronym. We're named after a unit from the Vietnam War, MACV SOG. On the paperwork, SOG stands for Studies and Observations Group. Like I said earlier, we're starting to break that out and apply that to everything that we do. So we're starting to go by SOG in common parlance, as opposed to just saying SOG. But
I will try to always remember that in my future videos, sir.
I'll do my best to not hold it against you if you don't.
It's hard to overcome ingrained habits sometimes. But
absolutely.
my final question, as I mentioned, for those out there who have never tried an SOG knife, or maybe haven't for a number of years, why should they consider you now? What makes SOG special today?
Honestly, it's the way we're doing things with the new technologies and the fact that we're starting to test everything more often than we used to. It's just, they're fantastic knives. I know everybody will say that. I've been doing this for more than a decade. I've seen knives from everybody, and I'm carrying our knives, not just because I work for the company. Lifetime warranty on everything, just like we've always had. As long as it's our fault, we'll fix it for you. Just send it into us. Lifetime cleaning, lifetime sharpening. They're designed for use by users.
That sounds about right to me. I think that's a great way to end things today. Alec, thank you so much for spending time with us today for this kind of virtual Blade Show Week extravaganza we've been doing. Thanks for sticking around. Guys, at the KnifeCenter YouTube channel, if you want to see more about these knives, get your hands on ones, we'll leave links in the description to take you over there. Alec, thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you too, David. Take care.